Thank you. Here, just put it on the table.
This is 4th of July.
How do I look, Ma? I got another one in here, too.
Hey, Bob, where's mine?
Oh, there you go, Paul. Oh, there it is. I got another red, white, and blue.
Oh, look.
There you go.
Is there a reason why you came from New York to New York? Is that like
You could take a picture of me and Bob. Huh?
Yeah. That's a nice hat.
Oh, mine.
And they get sent to Salt Lake. The leaders of our church will pray about where we should go, and we'll get sent anywhere in the world.
Somebody wants to wear it.
How do you associate that thing of theirs more with going like overseas or?
Yeah, some do. I've got.
Hometown USA.
I got some in
Picnic in the Commons, 4th of July, 2018. Anno Domini.
Or here's some water folder right here.
Oh, yeah.
You see, it goes right in this nice little cup holder. Isn't that perfect?
That's perfect. You are, too. Will you get a picture of the band? It's rolling.
It's what?
It's rolling. It's rolling.
Okay.
Number 1. Thank you, honey.
Bunch of birds.
Are those real birds?
Yes,
They're singing with the music?
they are. They're going.
Real birdies are singing with the music.
They get tired of the kids out Maybe we'll start going and act like we're having a ton of fun and
It would be nice to see a clear blue sky without haze, without aerosol, without goo. All blue and no goo.
I never did. It take a lot of practice.
You want me,
Right, Bob?
is it on?
Yes, it's
Okay.
rolling, yeah. All
Okay.
you don't have to do anything, just hand
Okay.
it back to me.
Okay.
And that's your picture, yeah. Thank you, Robert.
You're welcome. Excuse me, people.
So it's got a lot of trains. Okay, ladies, you're going to do the same thing. You leave, start behind me, and then everywhere go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's all the time. So, how do we do it really quick? How do we do it quicker? Is not to pick up as much space. You're close behind me, real close around. That way you need fewer steps. It's 16 steps. Don't worry. You don't have to.
Oh, sorry.
Now it says, number 1, take
Just so that you know, all those coolers under the table there, they have different kinds of soda and drinks in them. The orange things should just be water, okay? And just help yourself,
5, 6,
all right?
7, 8. And we
And
go
I gotta run
back.
home for a minute because we're gonna have a big poker going for like pennies. And so we need to, I don't have any poker chips. I'm gonna go find pennies. Okay, I don't know where to find them.
Well, one hand is easier than two. And we go down for 8. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Stop. Switch hands and back up. And then the men switch hands. Hold on.
I'm thinking about doing a thorough in a couple weeks over in Massachusetts. Oh, Freetown. Freetown State Forest. That's for program paper.
Whew.
Yeah.
Here you go, Glendora. I did the best I could.
I know you did. Thank you, dear.
Yeah.
Jefferson's
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jefferson and Liberty.
Your dog's peeking out at you there.
Hey, Scout.
Saying, where's mommy? Where is
Stay
she?
there.
Where is she?
Sandy counted 40 people here, counting the band. Yay! Tell us about the band, Kurt. Where are they from?
Well, I know the man who in charge is a very well-renowned folk music specialist. And he's either from Sand Lake or Averill Park. George Wilson
George Wilson.
is
We're
his
going to
name.
do a waltz.
And he
It's
has
called the Spring
a
Morning Waltz in hopes that it might cool us off
routine
just a
that he
little bit.
does where he is seated and between
I think you can go run under the
his feet on the floor and his hands on his legs, he makes a rhythmic accompaniment music, which I believe is a real old-timey American folk tradition. And I saw him do this maybe 30 years ago. And to find out that he's still at it, I was very surprised. But it just proves that making music keeps you young.
Gregory, who took the video at the Strawberry Festival, he loved your band.
That's nice.
He was here this morning to say
We'll be back here
something just decimated.
2 weeks from Thursday.
Really?
Yeah, we do
Getting over it.
concert at the
Something that he had built, tried to make it, what do you call it, varmint proof. Something got under it. You almost need another one. You know when you want another one.
Do you know Glendora?
What dear?
Glendora, this is Judy Lori Goldman. Goldberg.
Otherwise, you got it perfect.
She lives behind St. Mary's Church, and her son was an Eagle Scout who did the work at the library to take the old photographs and put them on
2, 3 years
computer.
ago?
Yes.
Oh, he was
Or
terrific.
more than that.
Yeah.
But yes,
Yeah, he was terrific. Where is that young man now?
that young man is out in Corning.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep, he's working for Corning as an internship this summer.
They said not really.
And where's he going to college?
He goes to RPI,
Oh, good.
so he's a mechanical engineer, and yeah, so he's
Did you
out
get
there.
that from you or his mom?
Well, that's good, isn't it?
Not for me.
They're good.
He's doing research out there for them. So
I have a friend, her daughter is a PhD in mechanical engineering.
wow,
And she got it from Yale.
wow.
And she married a man who is a PhD in mechanical engineering, and he got it from Yale.
And he got it from Yale also.
That's where they met. They met at Yale.
That's amazing.
Isn't that amazing?
It really
I
is.
bet they don't have to worry where the next mortgage payment's coming from.
No, I bet not. Sounds like they both got pretty darn good jobs. Bringing in the dough.
I bet you knew my dear friend, number 10 Tremont.
You mean Tremont?
Number 10 Tremont. Oh,
I don't know.
oh, yes, you do.
I don't know the numbers. I don't know the numbers.
Yeah, but you know this woman. She just passed at 91.
Oh, see, I don't.
Yes, you know her.
Mrs. Gorey?
Betty Bory.
Oh, yes, I did know her a little bit. I mean, I didn't really know her, but I knew her. I knew who she was.
What a person.
Yeah.
What a great person.
I got the impression that she was a very nice lady, but I never really got the opportunity to know her. Oh my gosh, it's hot. And then you can't get the sun at all. So
You don't want it to roll.
Lunch will be served at noon, and the coolers under one of those tables there is full of all different kinds of soda and drinks.
Like this,
and there's more in the refrigerator,
and then
so
put
please
your
help
food on,
yourself.
and that way you wouldn't have to move
We
too
thank the
far.
Meg again, and we thank the caller for the contribution.
Fine.
Going there, what, 40 years, Bob?
Oh, wow.
Now, these are trees.
My parents used to go to the Methodist church, especially my mother. And they used to live up on
There's 6
Lord's
maple
Hill.
trees,
Yeah.
and they form this pavilion.
But they got, they got tired of renting, so they bought a place in Maury Park.
Trailers or
And,
Houses.
and Bob and his...
Years ago, there used to be all camps.
Oh, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's close to the lake.
And Bob and his 4 brothers used to walk down the hill to the Grace Methodist.
Yeah. Yeah. We used to sleigh down there.
From Bob, from Lord's Hill, from Lord's Hill, you walked or you sledded?
Oh, no, my...
Should we start getting ready? After she's done, we'll all come up on stage, and then we'll read from up here.
Oh, thank you.
I just want your
Hi,
help
Andrew.
getting Glendora up there, okay?
All right. You gonna read?
She's gonna tell jokes.
Oh, great.
Oh,
That's
we didn't
good.
bring the notebook. Do we need the notebook?
Yes, you need the notebook.
All right,
Well, why don't we get her up the stairs and then you go get the notebook?
okay.
Okay. Okay.
Right?
Okay, Andrew.
Carolyn, can you grab Glendora's black briefcase? It's over near Dawn.
You got a railing?
Yes.
Okay, good. Step.
Isn't that neat? Oh, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, I got to get a picture of her. Oh, she's lovely. Oh, she's beautiful.
You can understand why.
Carolyn.
Is this the last one, honey?
Yes, it is.
One.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, do you think I could stand?
Here's the mic. Can you stand up to do this?
Yeah, can I sit down, do you think? Or?
Well, if you sit down, they won't be able to see you.
Okay.
But if you can sit down. We can adjust the mic.
No, I'll stand up.
The mic's right over here.
Here's the briefcase.
Where is the mic?
I'll be right there.
right
It's
there.
attached.
Chair.
Okay. And this is the chair?
We can bring the mic down.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess. Wait a minute, Glendora.
Shall I sit?
Yeah, you can sit.
Oh, that's good. You're going to do the camera work? Honey, it's rolling.
Okay. Farmer John Wagon.
Hi, folks. Are you ready?
Is it on?
Do you want to turn the volume on that, please?
How do I do that?
Do you know how to work the...
I don't know how to work anything.
It's on. It's on to speak up, Glendora.
Hi there, folks. Are you ready? Do you know you're getting old when everything hurts, and if it doesn't hurt, it's not working? And you know you're getting old when it takes you longer to rest up than it did to get tired? And you know you're getting old when you're out in the evening and you're having a good time and you're faced with 2 temptations. You'll take the one that'll get you home at 9:30. Throw me a joke, Sandy. Throw me.
Farmer John's Wagon.
The Baptist minister would go visit his flock, folks, every Wednesday. And he said, Farmer John, I haven't seen you in church for a long time. And Farmer John said, well, I can't, all I got is this farming gear. I can't wear that to church. So the next week, the Baptist minister showed up with his lovely outfit. But come Sunday, Farmer John was not in church. And the Baptist minister says, Farmer John, I'm aghast that you were not in church Sunday. And Farmer John says, well, those clothes you gave me were so nice, I thought I could go to the Episcopal Church. Throw me.
Again, Sandy.
Sandy,
Miles from home.
the doctor said, you take one of these pills and you walk a mile a day, you take one pill a day and you walk a mile a day, and at the end of the month you call me. And at the end of the month the patient calls and says, hey doc, what do I do now? I'm out of pills and 10 miles from home. Throw me a joke.
Maine woods.
This camping party was hopelessly lost in the northern woods of Maine. And they wandered around for hours. And finally one of them got up enough courage to say, you told us you were the best guide in the state of Maine. And he said, yeah, I am. But right now I think we're in Canada.
Beethoven?
This man was a Beethoven fan. He loved the composer Beethoven. And he would go to Beethoven's grave, and he was standing there and he was listening to all these Beethoven symphonies coming out of the ground. But they were being played in the reverse order in which they were written, and they were being played backwards. And he says to the gravedigger, I don't get it. I'm trying to listen to these Beethoven symphonies. They're being played backwards. They're being played in the reverse order in which they were written. And the gravedigger says, don't you get it? He's decomposing.
Cheat on the test.
The teacher said, Johnny, I think you cheated on the test. The first question was, who was the first president of the United States? I think you copied from the girl sitting across the aisle. She wrote Washington and you wrote Washington. The second question was, who was the president of the United States during the Civil War? She wrote Lincoln and you wrote Lincoln. And the third question was, who was president during the Louisiana Purchase? She wrote, I don't know, and you wrote, me neither.
Thousand Island.
This man was worried about his fourth daughter getting married, first daughter getting married. Why? Well, my first daughter married a man from Singleton, New Hampshire, and they had one child. My second daughter married a man from Twin Oaks, Missouri, and they had 2 children. And my third daughter married a man from Three Rivers, Michigan, and they had 3 children. Why are you worried about your fourth daughter? She's going with a fellow from the Thousand Islands.
Truck driver.
Excuse me?
Truck driver?
Oh yes, this truck driver was in a truck stop, folks, and he was eating, and then 3 men on 3 motorcycles drove up, and they parked their motorcycles outside, and they came in, and one of the motorcycles tipped over the truck driver's glass of water, another one tripped over his cup of coffee, and a third one tipped over his dinner plate. So the truck driver got up, and he paid his bill, and he left. And the one motorcyclist said to the other, he says, he's not much of a fighter, is he? And the owner of the truck stop says, he's not much of a driver either, he just drove over 3 motorcycles.
Death in the family?
Oh yeah, I called a friend.
Whoa.
You okay, everybody?
Yeah, it's the wind. It's a beautiful
Don't you want to sit down? I called up a friend, folks, to get some help with reading, and he was frenetic. And it was like a death in the family. And I said, who died? He said, the computer.
You want to introduce the Declaration of Independence?
What, dear?
Introduce the Declaration of Independence?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Can we go now, you mean?
Yeah, they're all ready to go.
Okay, dokie. And remember, when all is said and done, the only thing that really mattered is how did you treat others.
Yeah. That's for sure.
Maybe Glendora.
Sit up here.
Yes,
for now.
up here.
Okay.
Yeah, shall we move to the side here?
Yeah, we'll come over to the side.
Or the middle, or whatever.
That's right, good old.
We have a descendant right here reading.
That's right.
round of applause for Glendora while we're getting ready up here. This year, I decided that I would do a brief introduction. It's not a full sermon, but a brief introduction to the Declaration of Independence, so that just to refresh our memories a little bit. And the Declaration of Independence was written to explain the decision of the Continental Congress to declare that the states they represented would be declaring their independence from Great Britain. That's why it was written. And George Washington had already been leading the army. The war had really already begun. So the declaration was just explaining what was going on. It wasn't necessarily a declaration of war initially. There was already violence and war going on. And the Continental Congress, had met to respond to the Intolerable Acts and the coercive acts that the British had passed, and there had been a tit for tat with the colonies, between Britain and the colonies, and of course they were upset about the Boston Tea Party. And so back in 1774, 12 colonies met to form the First Continental Congress, and then a year later, after they'd been meeting, they met and they were starting to coordinate some of their efforts. A year later, they made an effort to appeal to King George III, but it did not go well. And by the next summer, they were ready to declare independence. And so when the call was made for a Declaration of Independence, they voted in favor of the resolution in Congress July 2nd. And then the group of Committee of Five got together and did the writing. Benjamin Franklin of Pennsylvania, John Adams of Massachusetts, Robert Livingston of New York, Roger Sherman of Connecticut, Thomas Jefferson of Virginia, who we remember mostly for it, although all had a part, and there was editing that happened, and the Congress edited the document again, and finally on July 4th, they approved the final wording. The Declaration was printed, and copies went to various places, including England. It was also read to the troops to build up morale, and then public readings occurred, and that's what we do today. We are part of that grand tradition of reading the Declaration of Independence out loud. And if you see from a tree, there's also a copy of the handwritten version hanging from the tree. We remember as we gather our nation's founding values as we continue this tradition right here in the Nassau Commons. And the readers we have today, one is David Walcott, whose ancestor, you will see when we read the people who signed on, he had direct ancestors.
From Connecticut.
Oliver Walcott from Connecticut signed the Declaration. And you have a variety of people reading today from the community, and we also have people from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints who joined us for the first time this year. We're part of the Interfaith Network, and we're glad to have them joining with us. And so we begin. Thank you. I get nothing. So what number are we on?
In Congress, July 4th, 1776, the unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America.
Start over again.
In Congress, July 4th, 1776, the unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed.
That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it, and to institute a new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes. And accordingly, all experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government.
The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. He has refused his assent to laws, the most wholesome and necessary for the public good. He has forbidden his governors to pass laws of immediate and pressing importance, unless suspended in their operation till his assent should be obtained, and when so suspended, he has utterly neglected to attend to them. He has refused to pass other laws for the accommodation of large districts of people, unless those people would relinquish the right of representation in the legislature, a right inestimable to them and formidable to tyrants only. He has called together legislative bodies at places unusual, uncomfortable, and distant from the depository of their public records, for the sole purpose of fatiguing them into compliance with his measures. And he has dissolved representative houses repeatedly for opposing with manly firmness his invasions on the rights of the people.
He has obstructed the administration of justice by refusing his assent to laws for establishing judiciary powers. He has made judges dependent on his will alone for the tenure of their offices and the amount and payment of their salaries. He has kept among us in times of peace standing armies without consent of our legislatures. He has effected to render the military independent of and superior to the civil power. He has combined with others to subject us to a jurisdiction foreign to our Constitution and unacknowledged by our laws, giving his assent to their acts of pretended legislation, for cutting off our trade with all parts of the world, for imposing taxes on us without our consent, for depriving us, in many cases, of the benefits of trial by jury, for taking away our charters, abolishing our most valuable laws, and altering, fundamentally, the form of our governments.
He has abdicated government here by declaring us out of his protection and waging war against us. He has plundered our seas, ravaged our coasts, burnt our towns, and destroyed the lives of our people. He is at this time transporting large armies of foreign mercenaries to complete the works of death, desolation, and tyranny already begun, with circumstances of cruelty and perfidy, scarcely paralleled in the most barbarous ages, and totally unworthy the head of a civilized nation.
In every stage of these oppressions, we have petitioned for redress in the most humble terms. Our repeated petitions have been answered only by repeated injury. A prince whose character is thus marked by every act which may define a tyrant is unfit to be the ruler of a free people. Nor have we been wanting in attentions to our British brethren. We have warned them from time to time of attempts by their legislature to extend an unwarrantable jurisdiction over us. We have appealed to their native justice and magnanimity. We have cojourned them by the ties of our common kindred to disavow these usurpations which could inevitably interrupt our connections and correspondence. They too have been deaf to the voice of justice and incongruity. We must, therefore, acquiesce in the necessity which denounces our separation to hold them as we hold the rest of mankind, enemies in war, in peace, friends.
We, therefore, the representatives of the United States of America in General Congress, assembled, appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions, do in the name and by authority of the good people of these colonies solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies are, and of right ought to be, free and independent states, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved, and that a free and independent states, they have full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and to do all the other acts and things which independent states may of right do. And for the support of this declaration with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.
Signed by New Hampshire, Josiah Bartlett, William Whipple, Matthew Thornton.
Massachusetts, John Hancock, Samuel Adams, John Adams, Robert Treat Payne, Elbridge Gerry.
Rhode Island, Stephen Hopkins, William Ellery.
Connecticut, Roger Sherman, Samuel Huntington, William Williams, Oliver Wolcott.
New York, William Floyd, Philip Livingston, Francis Lewis, Lewis Morris.
New Jersey, Richard Stockton, John Witherspoon, Francis Hopkinson, John Hart, Abraham Clark.
Pennsylvania, Robert Morris, Benjamin Rush, Benjamin Franklin, John Morton, George Clymer, James Smith, George Taylor, James Wilson, George Ross.
Delaware, Caesar Rodney, George Reed, Thomas McKean.
Maryland, Samuel Chase, William Paca, Thomas Stone, Charles Carroll of Carrollton.
Virginia, George Wythe, Richard Henry Lee, Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Harrison, Thomas Nelson Jr., Francis Lightfoot Lee, Carter Braxton.
North Carolina, William Hooper, Joseph Hughes, John Penn.
South Carolina, Edward Rutledge, Thomas Hayward Jr., Thomas Lynch Jr., Arthur Middleton.
And Georgia, Button Gwinnett, Lyman Hall, George Walton.
Thank you, and thank you to the readers. And we spent another, I don't know what time it is, until 2 o'clock or so, just enjoying the fellowship of our neighbors, and then we clean up, go home, and hope to see you at fireworks someplace tonight. Thank you. And last note, if you want to be one of the readers next year, let me know. Okay, we have different readers every year a little bit, so it's open, and we share the wealth, so if you'd like to be one of the people who gets to get up on stage and do the reading, let me know. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
Yay.
So we'll go down and I'll come back and get your bag afterwards.
Really? Hometown USA, wasn't it terrific? Oh, it was just terrific. The maple trees. It's made by 6 maple trees.
Sleeping bag on the floor and sat in the basement playing with their phones and our iPads and our laptops and playing games.
How you doing, Randy? All right.
Good morning.